What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Xman Co. Today we're going to make Boerewors, traditional South African Boerewors. Stay tuned. There's so many ways making Boerewors. Today I'm just going to show you traditional Boerewors and how we like to make it. There's different thoughts about it, 60, 40, 70, 30, but let me show you what ingredients we have here today, what's optional, and how we're going to make this. First of all, let me introduce you guys to these ingredients. We've got some salt, Worcesterschire sauce, we've got some garlic powder, which is optional, nutmeg, rosemary, pepper, it's a must. Got some vinegar, brown vinegar. Some guys ask me, is it okay if it's apple cider vinegar? Not really, you can play with that, but traditionally it's brown malt vinegar. We've got some jalapeno chilies. Special optional trick here is some chutney. Now a few of these ingredients are optional and the others are the base. I'll leave it for you in the description below and on the screen somewhere. And this is basically for about 4.5 kilogram, 10-pound mix. That's what you're going to need. With that said, let's get on with this video. We like to crush our coriander, also known as dhania. Thereafter we like to roast it. It's going to infuse this Boerewors to the next level. It's really amazing. Once you've done that, guys, we have got some meat here. Boerewors, traditionally for us, goes with pork. So we've got 60% beef, 40% pork. You can play, make 70-30. We just found 60-40 is really great. It really brings out that flavor. Another thing, we make sure that our beef is 70-30 ratio to fat. Might be too fatty for some. You could go for 80-20. It's just what we prefer once again. Whilst getting all your components ready to do your Boerewors, let me explain to you what meats you could use. We're using some leg for pork. It's nice and clean meat. Then you're going to need some trimmings on your beef. We've got lean trimmings over here, and therefore we're adding some fat as well. Beef fat, body fat basically, to make sure we get our 70-30 fat ratio and 60-40 with our pork. Let's start cutting these babies up. You want to make sure that you are cutting these cubes very small. Make sure they can fit in the funnel of your grinder. Hand grinder or electrical, doesn't matter, it still needs to go through. And if it does, then the smaller you cut these cubes, the better it'll work, and the less the machine or the hand machine has to work, which is obviously more efficient and great. Guys, remember, if you're doing what we're doing with the pork leg, make sure this skin here, you can use the fat, but not the skin. So you need to remove that skin. It will not work great with your Boerewors. We've cut up all the meat in small cubes, and now it's time just to mix all of them. Make sure your ratio is good, otherwise you might end up with only fat or pork or beef in one of your links of your Boerewors strings. So let's mix all of that together. I'm putting it into a big bowl here, so it's easy for me to make sure that we mix it all together. And after a while of practicing, you'll see it looks correct. You know, the white pieces, meaning the fat, the lighter pieces, your pork, and then your beef is the more reddish pieces. And you can see that, yeah, this is going to be good Boerewors. Once we've done this and we're happy with it, the next step is to grind all of this. For our ingredients, it needs to go all together now. So we've got our coriander seeds chopped up and roasted. There's some salt, a little bit of garlic powder, some cloves, some nutmeg, some pepper, fresh chopped rosemary. That really does make a difference. Jalapenos, quite a bit of that. Some malt vinegar, some Worcestershire sauce. Whoa, I pronounced that correctly, I think. Some chutney, optional but brilliant. About 30 ml of olive oil and 150 ml of luke water. You want to mix all of that together, and this is the perfect ratio to what we are working with, the amount of meat. You could add and take a little bit away, but be very careful with the liquids, as you don't want it too runny, too liquidy. This is about 5 to 10% of liquid overall, and that's just good. We like these solutions to rest a bit. Anything that rests, it infuses itself. It's really going to add to the flavor of this Boerewors. Another pro tip, guys, is very important to make sure that your meat is cold, so you could put it in the fridge for an hour. Alternatively, make sure that your components, your parts right in front of you where you are grinding, they're cold. You'll see that we put them in ice water, and if we need to do a swap, we'll clean them and we put them back in the ice water so they don't get warm and the fat doesn't smear, because once it smears, it really becomes a problem grinding the meat. We grind our mince only once. That's for our Boerewors and going also for our Boerewors. Once it gets to patties and that, you're welcome to mince it once again. And you know what, even then, we sometimes like it minced roughly. To us, the secret for this Boerewors that we're making today, that it's so great, is basically because we only grind it once. You need to remember, this is not dough. This meat, you cannot work it like that. You have to use your fingers, and it's this motion. You're basically after that. Just want to do that, so you mix it properly and make sure everything's mixed. You don't want to compress it at all. And we're now going to move over getting our casings ready. Remember, the casings needs to be washed properly. Only take out the casings that you want to use. In order for you to store the rest, you should leave the salt on the ones you're not going to use. Once you're happy that your casing is nice and clean, you can clean the tube of your sausage filler and then make sure it's nice and wet. You can add your casing to it and then you're ready to make some Boerewors. Right guys, I've got Co here next to me. Going to help me to turn this filler so we can make some Boerewors. Let's do it. You just want to be constant with the turning of the filler, and as you guys can see, the way I'm manipulating with this finger here, it's actually very straightforward. And it takes something to get used to. We're making nice thick Boerewors, traditional South African Boerewors. Some might even call it monster Boerewors. There you have it. We've made some Boerewors. As you guys can see, we've got in front of us. These are really long casings, and we actually love it that way because now we can decide how big our package should be. We've got some beautiful thick ones here, and that's the way we love it. I might throw in a clip there of a piece that we do over the fire, but if I don't, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know the story. If you like what you're doing, like, share, subscribe. Enable those notifications so you get notified as soon as we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. We cannot do it without you. We'll see you on the next one.